Hi everyone, welcome back. So we're going to be making this really cute fluffy crochet book sleeve today, and let's just get straight into it. So to start, you're going to need two different colour yarn. I'm using this pink spotted stripe yarn and then this baby pink yarn. You're also going to need some scissors, a 4mm hook, a large needle, a stitch marker, and then your book of choice. I just grabbed the first one I found, but yeah, this is just a regular paperback size book. And you'll also need the measuring tape. So to measure the book sleeve, you're going to take your measuring tape, and I'm having the book sleeve this way, and then the flap will come over the book. So this will be the height and this will be the width. So for the width of the book, it's going to be about 8 inches, but I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger because then it fits in perfectly rather than you having to shove it in. And then for the height of the book sleeve, I'm going to make it about 5.5 inches, slightly bigger than the height, again just so that it has room to slot in. So for the book sleeve, I'm using this colour as my main colour, and then I'm going to use the baby pink for the daisy. So you can either eyeball the measurement or you can do it to the exact. I do a bit of both just because you never know what your tension's going to be really. So yeah, so you want to start by making a slip knot like that, and then you're going to place it on your hook, and you're going to make a chain of however many that will fit the width of your book sleeve. So I've done about 28 chains, which covers the book cover width and slightly more, because for me, my tension normally tightens when I do the first round of my book sleeve, so it will eventually actually come in a bit more, but this should be the perfect width for this. So for the whole of this book sleeve, we're basically going to be doing half double crochet stitches. So for the first row, it's just a normal half double crochet stitch. So you want to yarn over, insert the hook into the second chain from the hook, so that's this one here, and then you should have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over again and bring it through the first loop, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and that's your half double crochet stitch. I'm going to do this all the way down to the end of the chains. So I've reached the end of the row now. As you can see, it has shortened a bit, but you can see now that it's pretty much the perfect size, just slightly over as well when it stretches. So 28 stitches, 28 chains, I think is a pretty good amount for this weight yarn. So now we've completed the first side, but we still need to do this side, and then that will be the end of row 1. So we're going to now be working 1 half double crochet stitch into each of the chains on this side. So we've just completed this side, and now we'll be just basically turning round. So you just want to find your first chain, it should be in there somewhere, yarn over, insert into that first chain. I'm also going to add in the tail just so that we don't have to sew in the ends or anything, we can just crochet them in. and then you're going to half double crochet as normal, yarn over through the first loop, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. It's a bit difficult to see these small loops, but if you just take your time, and you should feel them, they basically look like little spirals. So yeah, 1 half double crochet down the row of the 28 chains on this side, so we finish row 1, and you're going to place your stitch marker in the stitch you just completed, right here. And now we're going to work on round 2. So there's no chaining up in this book sleeve, you're just basically working in a spiral round and round and round. But yeah, this is row 1, and now we're going to be doing row 2. So for row 2, up until you reach the height of your book sleeve, it's just going to be a half double crochet into the back loop only. So as you can see here, we have this little V. Hold on, okay, so here's your little V, and this is all your stitches are like these little V's, and there's like 2 loops. But instead, you're going to insert the hook into the back loop only. That's this one here, the one furthest away from you. So you're going to do the half double crochet stitch as normal, yarn over, but insert the hook into the back loop only, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and that's basically a half double crochet stitch in the back loop. And you're going to continue this all the way around until you reach your stitch marker, and then I will show you what to do after that. So I've just reached the last stitch for round 2. So I'm just going to take the stitch marker out and complete the last stitch, and then you just replace it in that same spot. You just want to do the exact same stitch all the way around, 1 half double crochet in the back loop, and just keep going round and round and round until you get to the height of your book. Okay, so I've now finished the height of the book sleeve. I ended up doing 13 rounds of half double crochet in the back loop. So now I'm going to show you what to do next. So basically I've ended up kind of just before one end. So I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches until I reach the end. So for your last round you might end up kind of in the middle or off center, but you want to make sure that you crochet or end up at one end. So I'm going to crochet about 4 more stitches until I reach the end. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and there you have one side even and the other side even as well. And I'm going to then slip stitch into the next stitch, which is actually just going to be through both loops. So you just want to yarn over, pull through, and then pull through, and that way you get an evened out area. There's no kind of jagged edge. So now we're going to work on the flap that will come down, and what you're going to do is chain 1, and you're going to turn your work. So I was working from left to right this way, and now I've chained 1 and I'll be turning and working from left to right this way. So you're going to be working now in rows, not rounds. So you're going to be working from, well, for me, left to right. If you're right-handed, you'll be working from right to left. So you're going to be working from this end to roughly this end until you get to the edges. of where you want your flap to come down to. So I've chained one and I've turned the work, and I'm going to be half double crochet stitching into the back loop. Again, same method, but it's going to be the stitch directly below, because then you're going to build height on the flap. So it's this stitch right, you have your chain one here and you have your stitch right here, and it's going to be this back loop, half double crochet, and then half double crochet into the back loops of each stitch across. So I've reached the end of the row, and I ended up leaving about one stitch either side left. So as you can see, when it folds down, it's quite even. Whereas if you go right to the edge, sometimes it can hang right over and it just doesn't look neat at all. So overall, I did 26 half double crochet stitches in the back loop across. So this is 26, and for row 2 you're going to chain up 1, turn the work, and then you're going to be working in the front loop. So whereas before you were working in the back loop, it's still technically the back loop, but it's just the other way around. So it's pretty much the front loop facing this way, back loop if you're facing this way. So I'm going to half double crochet in the front loop, so it's this one here, and then one half double crochet in the front loop all the way across. So I've just finished the flap, and I ended up doing 4 rows of the 26 half double crochet in the back loop. So now I'm going to go on to my last row, which is the row 5, and you're going to chain 1 as normal, turn the work, and this time you're just going to single crochet across until you reach the middle, and then I will show you what to do then. But you want to stop about 1/3 of the way in. You want to leave a little gap here, because that is where you're going to be making your button loophole. So I'm just single crocheting in both loops, not just the back loop, both loops, to about 1/3 of the way. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stitches, and I'm going to make a chain of about 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to skip about 5 or 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to single crochet in that 6th stitch, and I'm just going to check that I'm happy with that, how that looks good to me. And then you just want to single crochet into each stitch till the end. And that is the flap done. Now you finished the front flap, you can just chain 1 and fasten off. And I like to leave sort of a longish tail for sewing, like that, and you can just pull through, give it a little tug, and then that's secure. And now we can move on to making the daisy. I'm going to do baby pink petals and then this colour in the centre bud. So I'm going to start off with the baby pink, and I'm going to make a magic ring. just take it on my 2 fingers, the short end hanging down. I wrap it round the 2 fingers, make a cross, and then catch the long piece with my pinky like that, and then I hold this part with my thumb, and then I take the hook, insert under the left loop, grab the right loop, so turn the hook down and grab the right loop, bring it down, you get this little loop, twist, and then you want to almost chain one with this loop, so you catch it on the hook and then pull it through, and then you can just let go, pull this through, and then you have your magic ring. So I'm going to start by making 5 half double crochet stitches into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can pull on the short piece, and that will tighten the ring. So I'm now going to slip stitch into the first stitch, because this is where I want to start, and then we're going to chain 2, yarn over, insert the hook into that same spot, pull up a loop and stretch it, yarn over again, insert into the same space, pull up a loop, it's a bit tight, there we go, pull up a loop, make sure it's loose, yarn over again, insert, pull up a loop, insert again, and pull up a loop. So now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches, 9 loops on the hook. You can yarn over until the very last loop, so then you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over again and pull through 2. Chain 2 and slip stitch into the same spot again, and that is your first bud completed. And you want to again chain 2, and we're going to repeat this process into each of the 5 stitches that we've done. So yarn over, insert, pull up, 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 until you have 9 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yarn over until the very last loop, pull through until you have 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 2, slip stitch in that same spot, and that's your second bud completed. So you're going to repeat this until you get to the end, and then I'll show you what to do. So I've just completed the last slip stitch in this bud, so now all 5 petals are finished. So I'm going to just chain 1 and fasten off. I'm going to leave a tail to sew for later on. And now we're going to work on the centre bud. I've just made a slip knot with the other colour, and then you're going to grab your flower and you're going to find any space of these buds, so any space. I'm just going to pick here, I'm going to hook it on like that. For any space between the buds, I'm just going to hook it on, add your new colour and pull it through, and you're going to chain 3, and then you're going to do the exact same process in the second chain from the hook as before. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, insert, yarn over, insert, yarn over. Two loops on the hook now, and then yarn over, through two, chain two, and then you're going to slip stitch in that final third chain. And we're just going to fasten off and cut a tail for sewing. So that is your middle bud, and now I'm going to show you how to tuck away all these ends. Okay, so the longest baby pink string you're going to want to leave for when we sew on to the actual book sleeve. So you're just going to leave this one alone, and then with your two dark pink ends, I'm just going to weave this little one in through to the back where it's not going to be visible. So because it's quite short, I'm just going to use my hook. I'm just going to tuck that in, and then I'm just going to weave it in, because this isn't going to be seen when you sew it onto the book sleeve. Okay, so that's all we've done, and I'm just going to cut that piece, and that piece is all done. And then with the shorter pink piece, I will do that after. I'm now going to sew on the bud. So I've got my needle, I'm going to sew this on. I don't really have a technique for this, but I do just tend to go in each of the 5 spots of the buds. So I just start in one corner, pull through, bring it back up, and then go into another corner, pull through, and then bring it back up, bring it into another corner, pull through, and then just repeat this all around. So now I have sewn the bud into the middle of the flower. I've brought it back into the messy side, and with the short baby pink end and this spotty end, I'm just going to double knot these together, not too tight but tight enough that they are secure. Just cut the ends. So there you have your bud all done, and you've got your pink tail end that we're going to use to sew to the book sleeve. So depending on how many rows you did for the actual flap will depend on where you place your button. So for me, I want it to line up pretty much exactly where the flap comes down to. So where the flap comes down to, I want the button to be sewn on to about here. So you're really just sewing around this center area and not the edges. Okay, so I'm just going to mark where I want it with my finger, so I'm going to place it about here, and I'm going to insert the needle and just put it through so I know where to start. And then you're just going to sew back, up and down, but just purely around the bud, but not on the edges, just around the bud, and not on top of the bud either, because you don't want any of that baby pink to come through. You want to leave this as it is, so it's just sewing around the circle. So that is now all secure and really not that visible either. You want to make sure that you end your sewing on the inside of the book sleeve so that everything else is just hidden away. So bring the inside outwards, and then I'm just going to make a little knot. So I'm just going to insert the needle here. I'm going to leave a little loop right here. I'm just going to go straight through that loop and pull. I'm going to repeat that right in the same place so that I double knot it. That. And then I just sew in a few different directions to make sure that it is secure. And I just do this randomly, to be honest. There's no technique behind it. And then that is the button all done. And now the last step is to just weave in this end here. So you can either do this with a hook or with a needle. I just prefer a needle. And I always sew on the inside, because then that way it's hidden when the flaps come down. So this is now the inside of the flap, so I'm going to just sew down, and then I just do again, same as before, like a double knot. So that it's extra secure, and then you can just weave in those ends in a bit of a random direction. It's just to make sure that they won't come undone. And then once that's done, I can just cut that. And that is the book sleeve all finished. I'm just going to take out the stitch marker now, and then I will show you the final result. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment below if you found this video helpful, and if you have any requests of what you'd like to see me make, then please also comment them down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!